In the 80s, we were this close to make the first African car. During 1986, President Daniel Moi had a dream. He envisioned Kenya's first homemade car from an inspiration from Singapore.
Dan seterusnya melancar pengeluaran proton saga yang pertama.
We were this close to make the first African car.
He came to the University of Nairobi. He challenged the university and said he would like the university to come up with a car, however ugly, however slow. Those were the specifications.
But our failures,
His Excellency the President,
corruption,
No, it's a major project was coming. It was going to be billions of shillings. Places like that, people want to have some kind of leverage to eat.
killed the dream.
No, the vehicle actually moved.
During the 1980s, Singapore, which we like to compare ourselves to, built its first car homespan, the Proton, in 1985.
dan seterusnya melancar pengeluaran proton saga yang pertama.
The birth of Proton marked a new era in the growth of our nation. It became a symbol of all that we sought to achieve as a country united and the unlimited possibilities that lay before us.
Here in our country, Kenya, we were inspired, and Daniel Moi, the president at that time, decided it's time to venture our own ingenuity because most cars in the market were either British or Japanese. Moi wanted to design the very first ever fully functional Kenyan car, which I really admire him because we really came close. Daniel Moi and Biwott took it as a challenge and they endeavored to create the first ever Kenyan car. A state-owned corporation was formed, which was called the Nyayo Corporation. They incorporated University of Nairobi and the Kenya Railways to create and design a car, however ugly or slow it was.
When he came to the University of Nairobi, he challenged the university and said he would like the university to come up with a car, however ugly, however slow. Those were the specifications.
Kenya Railways was to come in handy because they had the best manufacturing facilities at the time. Other experts in the team were Kenya Polytechnic, the Department of Defense, and the National Council of Science and Technology. A civil engineering team from the University of Nairobi, which comprised of lead Professor Gishanga and some civil engineers like Sam Onyango, came up with the design. Charles Hornsby wrote that efforts were made to obtain information about car manufacturing from foreign companies, and project teams were placed in very sensitive and strategic places all over the world to gather source and information about car building. When they came back home, 2 cars, one British and the other one Japanese, were brought and dissected into pieces for researchers to gather more info. The orders were very clear from President Moi. Every single piece of automobile was to be designed in Kenya. The engine had a 1.5 liter capacity and every single component was built here in Kenya. Aside from the carburetor, which was outsourced because we didn't have the technology at that time. Nicholasbiwott, the Minister of Energy, had different opinion. The ideal prototype was to be a sedan, or rather like a saloon car. He had different ideas. He argued that a pickup would be ideal and economical for Kenyans. So the civil engineers designed 2 prototypes, a saloon car and a pickup. By the end of 1990, they had created and come up with 2 cars and 1 pickup for Nicholasbiwott. In 1991 was the launch year for the cars. President Moi had picked Kasarani Stadium as the best place for the launch of the Nyayo Pioneer cars.
His Excellency the President.
The stadium was packed and full of people waiting for the unveil of the cars at the Kasarani Complex in a televised ceremony. But the launch quickly took a dark turn, as cars could not even pedal a lap of honor around the stadium, and it's alleged that some even broke down. It was an embarrassment for the government, but we did not give up hope, as Moi administration went ahead to establish and fund Nyayo Corporation for mass production at estimate of 7.8 billion Kenya shillings. Years went and Kenya still had hope, as they were waiting for the production of the cars to hit the market. But what they did not know is that the second powerful month after the president at that time, Nicholasbiwott, had ordered that the whole project to be shut down. Then you wonder, with all the zeal, ambition and drive, why would they shut down a project in the shadows? Out of the 7.8 billion, 750 million was stolen out of the project. Of the 11 plans required for the ambitious undertaking of mass production of Nyayo Pioneer cars, only one was created, the General Machinery Complex. It had advanced computerized equipment, machine and ductile iron foundry that remained the largest of its kind on the continent. In the late 1980s, Kenya was going through financial crisis, and the International Monetary Fund, known as the IMF, and the World Bank demanded Moi's government to sell off non-performing parastatal for foreign aid. That in turn meant no fund for the Nyayo car, despite an annual allocation that was never disbursed. 80 years after its launch, still no car hit the market, and the government renamed the Nyayo Motor Corporation the Numerical Machine Complex Limited with the purpose of turning the idea into a self-sustaining commercial project. In 2001, just 10 years after its launch, Nyayo Car Pioneer project was made known to the public that it had collapsed. Out of my curiosity, I wanted to dive deep into this rabbit hole to know why we failed and the reason the car did not work. Biwott, the Minister of Energy, was mad because the pickup he designed broke down and could not even go a kilometer. It's alleged that this made Biwott angry and he shut down the whole project. The second was the car was designed with heavy material that the engine could not keep up with the weight.
Of course, the engine, being the prime mover, if you give him too heavy load, then it should not be efficient. The engine was struggling to move the vehicle itself.
Isaac Newton's second law of motion states that force is equal to mass times acceleration, or net force is equal to mass times acceleration. So how does the weight of a car affect its acceleration? First, there's something called power to weight ratio. The acceleration of a car is largely determined by the power to weight ratio of a vehicle. A lighter engine can contribute to high power to weight ratio, allowing the car to accelerate quickly, and on the other hand, a heavier engine can result to a low power, resulting to a slower acceleration. Second, total weight. The total weight of a vehicle affects how much force is needed to accelerate. Therefore, our overall weight of a car requires much force to achieve the same. Weight distribution will also be a factor. The car's weight distribution can influence traction and handling of a car, leading to understeer or oversteer. The Nyayo dream car came down tumbling, and in 2003, the vice president at the time,
Mimi Michael Christopher Wamalwa, naapa kwamba nitaitumikia vema na kwa moyo thabiti Jamhuri ya Kenya katika kazi zangu za makamu wa rais.
Kijana Wamalwa echoed that the government was looking for an investor to revive the stalled Nyayo Corporation. He echoed that it was a sheer waste of government resources at the Kenya Railways Corporation, which resembled a graveyard for Kenya Railways and Corporation shed. The Numerical Machine Complex, which was renamed after Nyayo Motor Corporation, now manufactures metal part items for local industries such as diesel portion mill and various vehicle metal parts.
The Numerical Machining Complex, therefore, will be the focus, will be the focal point from which subcontracting and assembly of key machinery, spares and tools will be carried out.
No, it's a major project was coming. It was going to be billions of shillings. Places like that, people want to have some kind of leverage to eat.
So we need to get the private sector to partner with us through public-private partnership to move this project forward.